No government in the world has enough money to put on the table what is needed to effect this transition. The biggest risk of all is the climate crisis. We have put in our budget, President Biden has already instructed the budgeteers to make certain that we're living up to our responsibility to help do our share of providing the $100 billion that was promised in Paris in order for smaller nations, less developed nations, to be able to leapfrog, to make the transition to new technologies without having to share in the mistakes that we and others have made in the past with respect to our dependency on this energy base. With respect to the new money needed, no government in the world has enough money to put on the table what is needed to effect this transition. The UN Finance Gap report tells us that we have trillions of dollars of deficiency in what we need to find in order to do the job. But there are trillions of dollars in the private sector, and there are now increasing numbers of private sector CEOs of banks, of asset management companies, of funds, and so forth, all of whom have accepted the reality of the challenge of the science. They know this is happening. They know we have to respond. And they know that financially, they're going to be held accountable for the judgments they're making and the inputs that will go into those judgments. So financial disclosure is now a requirement in Europe. There are other jurisdictions that are increasingly focused on making certain that there's fiduciary responsibility as people look at the risks of the future, and the biggest risk of all is the climate crisis. So we are working, I'm personally been working with some of our largest asset managers and banks. They are fully prepared to be very specific about the hundreds of billions of dollars that are going to start to be allocated directly into climate, into mitigation efforts, as well as into the deployment of some of these technologies and processes that are going to pull us back from the brink. So I'm very excited about it. I think that we're looking at the prospect of the largest market the world has ever known becoming a reality, and there will be amazing amounts of capital allocated to try to win that market. Whoever comes up with battery storage, or whoever comes up with the best way to take to scale hydrogen, green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, that's game changers. Not only in terms of finance and investment, but it's a huge game changer in terms of what we have to achieve to win this battle.